Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. My name is Sean Quince, and this is the Plutocracy Report. So, this is kind of a breaking story that just came out about a couple of hours ago now, and it is Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon basically splurged about $93 billion in September of 2025 because it was the end of the fiscal year. So, they had a use it or lose it budget that to keep their current funding, they had to spend it all. So they just blew through $93 billion. It was the most that was spent like that in a month in a use it or lose it kind of situation like that since 2008. And and they spent it on crab legs. They spent about $2 million on Alaskan king crab legs. They spent about $15.1 million on ribeye. They spent $12,000 on fruit basket stands. They spent $225 million on furniture. They spent like $3.5 billion on cable. They spent, I think, another $5 million on Apple devices, and they spent another $4 million on Samsung devices on top of that. And there was even more splurging in there as well. There was a bunch of grants that flurried out the door at the last second too, at the end of September as well, to blow even more money. And it just the most wasteful, like nonchalant spending of $93 billion by the Pentagon and Pete Hegseth, total piece of shit. Obviously, everybody that's in the Trump administration at this point, in my opinion, is a total piece of shit, like, unquestionably. But, and these are the waste, fraud, and abuse guys. So, this is the Waste, Fraud, and Abuse Administration that also sent ICE to basically invade Minneapolis and wreak havoc, cause hell, cause chaos. And they basically did all of that off of that whole ridiculous nonsense Nick Shirley video about Somali daycare fraud. And they basically use that as basically like a propaganda excuse to go in and invade Minneapolis, do like a complete military crackdown with the ICE Gestapo. Innocent people were getting murdered, innocent people were getting disappeared, people were getting taken to concentration camps, kids were being used as basically almost as bait to lure parents out of homes. It was absolutely disgusting, and it was all just total mayhem, total chaos, and they did all that off that completely baseless Nick Shirley Somali daycare fraud thing, which went completely viral and took over like all of the Republican Party and got promoted by Elon Musk on Twitter or X. And it's just, these people are total hypocrites. They'll talk out of both sides of their mouth. I know anybody that's left-wing and follows politics all the time, you already know this. But if you're starting to pay attention to politics, or you're bought in on the right-wing hype, which I'm so sorry if that is the case, these people are total hypocrites. They'll tell you one thing and they'll go right ahead and do another with a smile on their face. They don't care about you. They don't respect you. They think you're idiots. They think you are morons. They will whip you up about waste, fraud, and abuse and have you foaming at the mouth for concentration camps and all of these things and ICE invasions and having Gestapos, and then they'll go waste $93 billion on a combination of furniture, cable, iPhones, ribeye steaks, crab legs, millions of dollars in lobster, 12,000 fruit basket stands, just the most like frivolous spending you could imagine. And these are also the same people that are always acting like they're cleaning up the government and they're going to clean that budget up and get rid of all this waste, fraud, and abuse. When they say waste, fraud, and abuse, they just mean anything that helps poor people or minorities that they don't like, or anything of the sort that may give Democrats any kind of electoral advantage going forward, anything like that, then obviously they're going to say that's waste, fraud, and abuse. Even if it's a perfectly justifiable program that actually helps Americans. But when it comes to them fuck it, we'll just blow it on lobster, we'll blow it on ribeye, get like $3.5 billion in cable. Who the fuck cares? Fuck those people. And that's really how they think. They really couldn't care less about the average American. The only reason they act like they care is because they know that's the only way that they can win votes. So they act like they care about all these ridiculous things like illegal immigration and Somali daycare fraud and trans people in sports, and basically they're just total fraudsters, these people. I even saw Rick Scott talking about how California and New York are hurting Florida families by because of Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud. And this guy is the biggest fraudster in the history of the program of Medicaid. And he's the one that's going around acting like, oh, I can't believe my Florida families are hurting due to California and New York and their wasteful use of Medicaid. It's just, these people are despicable. And they will just do the most scummy shit imaginable. And then they will turn around and act like they are outraged that the Democrats are doing something that they've been doing a million times worse for years. And the Democrats probably aren't even doing the thing that they're saying they're doing. They're probably just making that up. And then they've actually been the one that's been doing their bad thing the entire time. So that's what the Republicans are. That's what MAGA is. That's what Trump is. That's what this entire fraudulent administration is. And it's all disgusting. And I mean, I hope this is another clear example to some people who, God forbid, are somehow still on the fence about whether this administration could be trusted in any way. Hopefully this is even more of a wake-up call. They don't care about you. They don't care about government waste, fraud, and abuse. They don't care about wasting money at all. They care about you getting money that you deserve or living a better life. They just care about them living high on the hog and doing what they want to do and maintaining power. Your concerns, your needs, the only time they're going to bring those up is when they need to galvanize you to vote for them, and then they're going to drop those immediately, turn around and do the opposite, and just be complete scumbags. So that's what the Republican Party is, and that's what they've been for a long time, but I hope this naked, outrageous corruption has at least shook some people down and made them wake up to the fact that the Republican Party is full of just total racist, bigoted fraudsters that are just trying to take advantage of the American people.